Part 1. A Perfect Illusion. Athena always believed she had the perfect relationship. She and Liam had been together for 6 years, married for 3. He was charming, devoted, and always knew how to make her laugh. To everyone around them, they were the definition of a power couple, successful, deeply in love, and seemingly unbreakable. But perfection is often an illusion. One evening, Athena was at home, sipping her usual chamomile tea, waiting for Liam to return from his business trip. He had left 2 days ago, texting her sweet goodnights and promising he'd be back soon. Then her phone buzzed. A message. No name. No number. Just one chilling sentence. He's not where he says he is. Athena's heart pounded. She stared at the screen, her hands trembling. Was this some kind of sick joke? Before she could think, another message arrived. Check the Moonlight Hotel. Room 304. Her world started to crack. Part 2, the first step into darkness. Athena's pulse pounded in her ears as she reread the message. 100 thoughts raced through her mind. Was this a mistake? A cruel prank? Or was it the truth she had been too blind to see? Her fingers trembled as she grabbed her car keys. She wasn't the type to jump to conclusions, but something deep inside her, the part that had been ignoring the signs for months, whispered that this wasn't just paranoia. The drive to the Moonlight Hotel felt endless. The neon lights flickered in the night, casting an eerie glow over the parking lot. She sat in her car for a moment, her breath shallow. This was it. If she walked inside, she would either find relief or devastation. She chose to find out. Stepping into the lobby, she forced a polite smile at the receptionist, her heart hammering against her ribs. "Hi, I'm meeting someone in room 304, she lied. The woman barely glanced up. "Elevators to your left." Athena swallowed hard and moved toward it, her body stiff. Every second felt like a countdown to something irreversible. When she reached the 3rd floor, the dim hallway stretched in front of her like a tunnel leading to her worst nightmare. Her hand shook as she raised it to knock. But before she could, muffled voices drifted through the door. A man's voice. Liam's voice. And then, a woman's soft laughter. Her breath hitched. Her fingers curled into a fist. And she knocked. Part 3, Shattered Illusions. The laughter inside stopped instantly. Athena could almost feel the hesitation on the other side of the door. A few seconds of silence stretched unbearably long before she heard movement, soft footsteps approaching. The handle turned. And then, Liam stood in front of her. His face paled, his eyes widening in sheer disbelief. He didn't even try to hide his guilt, it was painted all over him, raw and unfiltered. Athena's gaze flickered past him, and there she was. A woman. Blonde. Half-dressed. Standing near the bed, clutching a sheet to her chest. Athena's breath hitched, but she refused to break. Not yet. Liam opened his mouth, but no words came. What could he even say? Sorry? That it wasn't what it looked like? That he had made a mistake? Athena let out a dry, humorless laugh. Aren't you going to invite me in? Liam flinched. Athena, Save it, she cut him off, her voice sharper than she intended. She wasn't here to hear excuses. She was here for the truth. How long? Liam hesitated, then ran a hand through his hair. A few months. A sharp pain shot through Athena's chest. A few months. A few months of lies. Of waking up next to him, kissing him, believing they were still in love. She turned her gaze to the woman. Did you know he was married? The woman swallowed, eyes darting to Liam as if waiting for guidance. When he said nothing, she finally nodded. Athena exhaled slowly, pressing her tongue to the roof of her mouth to keep from screaming. Wow. Liam stepped forward, reaching for her, but Athena stepped back. Don't, she warned. Athena, I never wanted to hurt you, he said, desperation creeping into his voice. She let out a bitter laugh. Funny. Because you did. She turned on her heel and walked away. Part 4, The Weight of Goodbye. Athena walked down the hallway, her heels clicking against the polished floor. Every step felt heavier than the last. The moment she had feared, the moment she had tried to ignore in the depths of her mind, was now her reality. She felt Liam's presence behind her before he even spoke. "Athena, please." His voice cracked. "Don't walk away like this. Let's talk." She stopped. Not because she wanted to, but because part of her still needed to hear him suffer. She turned slightly, just enough to see him. His face was a mess of regret, of desperation, of something she couldn't quite define. "Talk," she repeated, crossing her arms. "Talk about what? How you betrayed me. How you slept with her while I was home, believing in us." His eyes darkened. "It wasn't like that." Athena scoffed. "Then tell me, Liam. What was it like?" He opened his mouth, then shut it again. There was no right answer. Nothing he could say that would fix this. She took a deep breath, forcing herself to stay composed. "You know what hurts the most," she whispered. "I never even doubted you. Not once. I was blind." Liam reached out again, but she stepped back. "Don't touch me." Silence stretched between them. The weight of everything pressed down on her chest. "I loved you," she said, the words feeling foreign on her tongue now. "I really did." His eyes glistened with something that might have been tears. But it didn't matter anymore. Athena turned around, pushing open the exit doors, and stepped out into the cold night air. She inhaled deeply, letting the chill calm her racing heart. This was it. The end. And maybe, the beginning of something new. Part 5, A New Dawn. The city lights shimmered against the wet pavement as Athena walked away from the place that had once felt like home. The cool air stung her skin, but it was nothing compared to the numbness inside her chest. She wanted to scream, to cry, to feel something other than this unbearable emptiness. But she wouldn't give Liam that satisfaction. Her phone buzzed in her hand. Another message from him. "Athena, please. Just talk to me." She stared at the screen for a moment before deleting the message. There was nothing left to say. As she turned the corner, she saw her reflection in a shop window. For the first time, she didn't recognize the woman staring back at her. She wasn't the same Athena who had walked into that house hours ago, believing in love, in loyalty. That Athena was gone. She clenched her jaw and kept walking. Somewhere in the distance, a new day was beginning. And she would not waste another second on someone who never deserved her in the first place. Athena stood on the rooftop of her new apartment, overlooking the city that had once been her prison. The cold breeze swept through her hair, carrying away the remnants of her past like ashes in the wind. Liam had tried to reach out, calls, messages, even showing up at her door, but she never answered. His betrayal had shattered something inside her, but instead of breaking, she rebuilt. Stronger. Smarter. Untouchable. Tonight, as she sipped her wine, she allowed herself a small smile. Not of revenge, not of bitterness, but of freedom. She wasn't just surviving. She was thriving. And nothing, not Liam, not heartbreak, not even the ghosts of her past, could ever take that away from her again.